This is E&P Reports from Editor and Publisher Magazine, the authoritative voice of news media since 1884, serving newspapers, broadcasts, digital, and all multimedia news publishing. Hey, welcome again, Mike Blinder, publisher of E&P Magazine. Housekeeping as usual, listening to us on whatever flavor of podcast platform you enjoy. Please follow us, watching us on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button below me, hit the bell to the right, get an update each and every time we upload a new episode of E&P Reports. Am I allowed to call you a friend, Rick, or not?
Yep. Absolutely, Mike. We've been in the business so long together, I think we're definitely friends by now.
How come you keep looking younger and skinnier and I keep looking older and fatter? Something is wrong. On that, those of you that are listening and not watching, ignore what I just said. But if you're watching us on the video portion of this, you'll see that. Rick Rogers, you and I go back. I mean, I worked with you at Gatehouse, right? I worked with you at ACM, which many people may not remember. It was an interesting group out of Houston, right? American Consolidated Media.
Correct.
But most people know you over 6 years as like the commander of sales for TownNews, where you were doing some amazing things there.
Well, the team was doing some amazing things, and they still are. My time at TownNews was special and will always be special to me. It was a way for me to definitely ingrain myself into the local media landscape. And now I'm trying to take all the things that TownNews and all the great, R&D partners in the industry, all the tools that they provided us publishers, I'm trying to actually put those into practice now here at Star Local Media.
Well, it's funny that we're almost taking the same journey. I did it 3 years before you, but I was working on the vendor side of the industry, supplying services to many media companies like you were, establishing relationships, speaking at conferences. And then one day, my wife thinks I drank too much and I decided to become a publisher and took over E&P. And now my wife is my business partner in that model. And it's similar to you. Were you drinking heavily when you decided to become a publisher?
No, I don't think that was the case. Mike, this is something that I've always wanted to do.
It's fun, isn't it? Yeah, it's fun.
It is. It's a lot of hard work, especially in 2022. But I've been blessed. You talked a little bit about my career path. I've been blessed to work with some amazing companies. I've been blessed to work with some amazing people. And when the opportunity came to look at acquiring Star Local Media, and we'll talk a little bit about what Star Local Media is. But when the opportunity came to acquire the company, it was just something that I couldn't pass up. And
I know the feeling because the deal was brought to me. It's that special spark where you say, okay, all this stuff I've learned, now let's see what I can do. Tell you what, we're going to explore all of that. 121 Media, Star Local Media. And how is it going as a community newspaper publisher? And we'll do that on the backside of this message.
Sounds great.
This episode of E&P Reports is sponsored by IQ Audience Plus by TownNews. Consumer revenue has never been more important. Digital leaders at media organizations worldwide are asking the same question. How do we accelerate the growth of consumer revenue? Traditional one-size-fits-all paywalls aren't the answer. They're blunt instruments that treat all visitors the same way, costing you money. IQ Audience Plus by TownNews is a smart, dynamic metering solution that empowers you to maximize revenue by identifying key audiences, seeding engagement, and growing membership and subscriptions. Ready to supercharge your consumer revenue, grow engagement, and bolster your advertising income? Visit townnews.com/EP today to learn more about IQ Audience Plus by TownNews.
All right, Rick, first, let's explore this ecosystem you picked up, Star Local Media. You announced the sale at the beginning of 2022, or the purchasing, I should say.
Yes.
You left TownNews first, and it was a secret. I remember that. What's Rick up to? What is he? And we were all like dying to know because we kind of knew you were going to announce something. How did this deal come about? Who were the players? How many papers is it? Where's it located? Why don't you just give us the lay of the land first before we get into what you've accomplished and what your dreams are down there?
You bet. So, the opportunity came to me in late fall of 2021. Mm-hmm. And the story goes, so Scott Wright, who was the previous owner of Star Local Media, Scott Wright, an industry veteran, a lot of time at Journal Register. Scott and I worked together at ACM. And Scott and I were heavily involved in the sale of ACM in 2014. And for those who may not know, Adams Publishing Group, their first acquisition was basically three-fourths of American Consolidated Media.
That's right.
All the papers that we had in the North, in Minnesota, Wisconsin, in Ohio, in Maryland, the Chesapeake Bay area, Adams, their first acquisition was those ACM properties. So Scott and I worked very closely together in the divestiture of ACM. And then Scott, about a year and a half after that, purchased Star Local Media, which at the time was owned by 1013 Communications. So we're going to have like a local media history lesson as we go through this, Mike. But so Scott operated Star Local Media for 5 years, almost 6 years. But he approached me in the fall of 2021, basically he was looking to not retire, but basically looking to kind of exit the media business. He was looking for some new challenges. He had done a tremendous job, as had the team that he had here, building up Star Local Media from 2016 through the pandemic. And like anything, when 2020 hit, it was a blow to local media, like every local media company. They survived through that and came out the other end. But he approached me in September and saying, Rick, I'm looking to exit. We go way back. So for those who don't know, I have lived in the Dallas market since 2011. I moved down from Missouri to work at ACM, which was headquartered in Irving, Texas. So I moved here in 2011. I've stayed here through my time at TownNews. I live in one of the markets that we serve at Star Local Media, Frisco, Texas. So it just made a lot of sense in so many ways. It checked off a lot of boxes. I live in the markets. I know the markets. I know some of the people. I know the former owner. Star Local Media was a customer of TownNews. So I knew, and having worked with this group here, I knew a little bit about what they do and how they do it. So, fast forward about 3 months later, the acquisition was announced January 27th of 2022. We just reached the halfway point, 6-month anniversary. Hey, there's been a lot of great things that we've done, and we can talk a little bit about that. There's been a lot of learning curves along the way as well.
But let me stay in the dynamics first.
Please.
Your wife is your business partner on the venture, and it looks like, and I hope I'm not I'm reading into, because I was going through your site and everything, that she's doing a similar model, your family model, similar to mine. My wife handles the editorial. I focus mostly on the business side. Is that similar to the way things are going between the two? How you're splitting the duties there, or not?
Yeah. So her main responsibility is in customer relations.
Okay.
So she's handling, as we pivot more to a subscription model, Star Local Media is and always has been a free distribution publication. So we distribute to 175,000 homes every Sunday.
And these are all weekly publications.
All weekly publications.
And let's put some perspective behind that. There's some scale there, right? You run them all in the same day. They're the same size. Some of the content is, because these communities are really not that far apart. I did a little mapping on it. And it's that my sister used to live in Plano. So I know the area. It's very affluent, beautiful, gorgeous part of the metroplex. It's like in that northeastern kind of corner up there, right? Wouldn't you say? And you would share editorial between them. So there's a scale there. There's one central office for all those publications.
Central office.
Right.
One central office. Our newsroom is 6 people strong,
Yes.
which is, when you think about how big this area is, I mean, listen, we're lean and mean like everybody else, but they produce a lot of content.
Right.
Each news reporter is responsible for 3 publications. More importantly, also the website. We're a digital first company. We may come out and print every week to, every Sunday, 275,000 homes, but we update our website multiple times a day with fresh content throughout the week. We're a daily online news operation that happens to put out a weekly newspaper every Sunday in the 9 communities that we serve.
And they're attractive papers. I mean, I was looking over, you take those covers pretty seriously, don't you? It's not an afterthought. Again, I feel like I'm doing the same thing in my model. I'm a 24/7 news operation, B2B model, you're B2C, but I publish monthly a very attractive magazine, but I'm not focused 100% on that product. I focus on generating great content, and then we get it. So you're kind of you got the best of both worlds. What say you to someone like Ken Doctor, who says, "Nah, I don't want to stay in print anymore. I can just this whole thing." I mean, what do you say to the digital only guys out there that think you're just stupid for having that expense wrapped around your neck every month to have to cut down a tree, turn it into pulp, get it through the press? I mean, I don't know about you. My print cost just went up last month because of distribution issues and what have you. What do you say to those naysayers who think if you're just so into the local communities, why don't you just do a digital only brand? What do you say to them?
I would say that there is still significant revenue opportunity in the print product. Now, listen, I think producing a daily print product, Monday through Sunday through Saturday, or even Monday through Friday, that is a extremely hard venture right now with the cost. But producing a quality weekly product that comes out on a day, and one of the things that we did in a few months, the last few months, is we moved to complete Sunday distribution. Prior, we had some publications that were pubbed during the week. We are a completely Sunday publication family now here at Star Local Media, because that's the one day a week that everybody does turn the dial back a little bit, right? That is where print readership can still, in my opinion, remain strong. Also, there are advertisers who still want to reach that 50 plus age group. And we all know that is traditionally the print readership, right? So when you look at our products, there's a lot of sectors, banking, active living communities, healthcare, that want to use our product today to reach those potential customers.
What about distribution? What is your distribution model on Sunday? Is it mailed, racked, delivered? How do you get those puppies out to everybody?
So we're carrier delivered. We're carrier delivered. We do have some single copy rack locations. One of the things, Mike, that I've been doing over the past 6 months is, I hate this term, but I'm going to use it, and I'll get my hand slapped for it. I mean, we're right sizing some of the legacy expenses of this operation, right? And that's a term that we've heard throughout the decades lately.
Sure.
Is right sizing. But one of the things that we did do is look at where we're delivering. We outsourced our delivery to a partner that's allowed us to cut some costs there as well. So, we've cut some significant costs out of the print side of the business to allow us to focus more into, how can we grow the digital revenue and the digital audience, and how can we, improve the content of the online product as well, while still maintaining a quality footprint.
I was also impressed here. I'm blowing you smoke, but I was impressed by your mixture of what I call good old hometown news and some really good enterprise reporting. In other words, you're still doing reporting. I see that, but the church suppers and the dogs and the kids are still part of the play, right? I mean, you feel the community, and just about all your headlines have the name of the town in it, which I think is, well, you and I both know a number of reasons for that, especially since we're both nerds and we understand SEO and search and all that. But it's amazing how when I leaf through these headlines and see the stories, I'm getting a really good picture of the town. How do you do that with such a small team? I mean, you're churning out a lot of content. Do you have stringers that operate for you as well? Are you paying by the word, other people?
Paying by the word. No, good idea though. I am blessed. And one of the things that really struck me right away in acquiring the company is I am blessed with a newsroom of 20-somethings that understand kind of the importance of content, understand how to leverage social media to engage with the community, and they're bought into what we're trying to do here. Mike, to your point, one of the things that Elizabeth and I, my wife, wanted to immediately make sure that Star Local Media was doing was that every publication, this is kind of our mission statement, should be a reflection of the communities that we serve. So when you do pick up the Plano Star Courier, you should get a snapshot of what life is like in Plano, Texas. And that means that, yes, we're going to go cover the back to school fair, which is providing backpacks and food and necessities to students who may not be able to afford those things as they go back to school. And we're going to cover high school football on Friday night. We're going to cover the city council. And you know what? We also have to cover that, in the past week, there's been 20 car thefts in the community, because yes, that's important for the public to know too. It can't be all one or the other. Our responsibility is to paint a complete picture of what life is like in each one of these communities. If we do that, people will pick up the paper every Sunday and read it, and they will visit starlocalmedia.com every day and check in on what's going on.
And you're doing an email push as well, correct? And you got social media churning too. So it's not just the website. It doesn't matter what the platform is. You're just pushing out and providing local content. And if I may, at the expense of the legacy brands that have had to compress and not cover the communities like they used to 20 years ago. I assume this has given you an opportunity to serve those towns. Yes, no? What's your competition?
It absolutely has. And more importantly, Mike, it's proving that we care about the communities. Here's the deal. If you do not go to community events and just say, hey, can you send us a photo? We'll run it. Sure, they'll do that. But they will see that we're not necessarily invested into the community. So myself, my wife, the newsroom team, we're out on weekends, on Saturdays. And part of doing this is just the simple blocking and tackling of showing up at a community event, taking some photos. They see us, we see them, we run the photos online and in print, they share it. And then you create this spider web of importance in the community, of relevancy in the community, that if you don't do those things, you'll just exist in the background.
All right, let's talk the business side now, Rick. You brought in one of my favorite people that I reported into at ACM back when I was consulting them and going through the markets, Rodney Blockett. Now, you brought him into TownNews because I guess you worked with Rodney at ACM, correct, when you were both there. But then you brought him into this venture as head of revenue, correct? Head of sales. Is that what Rodney's doing for you?
Absolutely. So Rodney and I go back actually till about 2005. So I was publisher of newspapers in Southwest Missouri for Gatehouse Media, which is just really, it was Liberty Group Publishing. I'm going to really go back and date myself, proof all the gray hair.
Well, wait a second. I managed all those papers. I consulted those papers, and it's almost difficult to fly out of there. You got to drive pretty far to get to an airport where you guys.
Yeah, you have to drive to Kansas City or Tulsa. Or
I remember.
Now Northwest Arkansas is available, so you're going at least 2 hours to fly in and out of Southwest Missouri. And Joplin, actually, hey, Mike, they have one flight now in and out of Joplin. So
you're kidding? That's amazing. Okay. Well, anyway, so go back. So you and Rodney go way back. You guys kind of
we go way back.
Okay.
We go way back. And the point there is, so we started a publication called JoplinDaily.com, which was an online publication with a print product once a week. And I mention that because it was probably 5 years too early to do that, but that's the model that everyone that's a weekly newspaper is doing or should be doing today, right?
Right.
Daily online, come out once a week. So we started that. It unfortunately didn't really take hold in the market, but we learned a lot by doing that. And then Rodney oversaw online operations at ACM, and then took a pause from media for a while, and then joined us at TownNews for about a year. Actually, he joined right before the pandemic. And then when I knew that I was doing this, again, Rodney he's lived in Frisco for a long time. He just moved a little bit more north to escape the growth a little bit. Mm-hmm. But he lives right here. He understands the markets. He's someone that, I have worked with in the past and can trust in executing the vision. And he's been a blessing. And
I've always liked him because he had a good sales ethic, but he had the nerdy side too. So it was not hard for him to understand the blend of digital and print. It was almost natural. And sometimes that's hard to find in a good seller or head of sales. So how is the business side going? I got to know. How are sales? How's money? How's income? How's it going?
No, all fair questions. And the good news is besides my wife, I don't have a board to answer, so I can be pretty transparent. The good news is this, Mike, is our first full quarter, which was April through June.
Right.
We made a profit. And, I knew that I had to invest a lot back into the business, back into the products. We launched a new website in April with TownNews. You mentioned the print products. We have invested back into the print products by adding pages, adding content,
Right.
making them more relevant. We want people to make sure that this is part of their, weekly routine. And if you don't have a good product, they're not going to do that. So we've invested back into the products. So the good news is hey, we turned a small profit in the first full quarter that we were operating. And we believe that will be profitable in the first full year. If you would have told me if we would have done a profit the first full quarter, I probably would have not been too confident in that. I knew that going in that, hey, we need to invest back in the business. So we were very happy with that.
I am talking, as you know, I've been making the rounds at a lot of the state conferences, did not catch you at Texas Press. But I'll tell you this, a lot of the community weekly publishers now are doing better this year than they were last year that I'm talking to. There is nothing wrong with running, as you said, a lean, mean, hyper-local weekly publication with a strong digital effort. How much is that digital effort transferring to your sales initiative? In other words, are you all in with digital services? Are you investing heavily in white labeled sales of social media maintenance and programmatic, although we don't know if that'll be around next year, and all the other, SEO and all the other bells and whistles? Or do you just focus mostly on marketing solutions for your advertisers?
So we're mostly focused on the marketing solution side, Mike. And I would say probably our number one goal now going forward is being a little bit more diligent in how we approach our business partners, our advertising partners.
Sure.
But when I say that, we had a good conversation this morning in our sales meeting about this, is making sure that we're not just trying to sell them the new happy shiny thing that we're producing this week, right? Making sure that, and this is going to sound very mundane and simple, but it's just fact, is having a needs analysis, having a sit down. Who are you not seeing at Joe's hardware store? What customer are you not seeing that we can maybe help you get in your store to grow revenue? So we sell right now. Our number one digital product is easily our targeted email marketing.
There you go.
So that way, that allows us to reach people outside of our coverage area. It's turnkey. It's simple to understand for the business partner. And it also provides, instant results in terms of measurement. They can see the ROI for that quite easily.
How about sponsored content? You've got some good tools in the TownNews toolbox to use. Are you all in when it comes to doing sponsored content sales? Or are you reticent about that?
No, I'm definitely, that's something that we need to grow into a little bit.
Okay.
It's not something that was done here before. So that is, while we do offer it, it's an area that we definitely see opportunity in going forward. Now, there are some other players who are doing that here in this market. So, how can we be a little bit different in our approach is one area that we're looking at. But really right now it's targeted email, targeted display, obviously our own O&O website ad positions as well, which one of the things that we did with our redesign is make sure that we're offering some high dynamic positions. A lot of the positions that TownNews offers through their website design are now available to us. And that wasn't the case 2 months ago. So that's definitely an area that we're looking to grow into as well. As far as services, and anybody who's been in this market would know, there's a lot of competition for website design, for SEO management. I mean, I go to chamber events and there's 5 people in the room who are offering those services, right? So we need to figure out, okay, what can we bring to the table, bring to the business partner that no one else can? That's 175,000 homes every Sunday, an engaged, print audience to reach that sector of the audience mix. We're going to hit 6 million page views at the end of this month. That's more than all last year already. We're averaging right around 275,000 users to our website every month. Wow. That's a number. So you put those numbers together, that's what we have, is that local engaged audience that we can put their message in front of in print, online, targeted through email, targeted through display outside of that footprint as well.
And you just mentioned earlier, and I want to bring this up because it was on my list of questions, you are about to go down the paid content road. You're going to start having paid access to the website. Yes, no, sir?
No, not right now. No.
Not right now? Okay. I thought I heard you say that.
So one of the things we are doing, and really for our footprint, when you deliver 175,000 homes every week, every Sunday, you're not guaranteed that you're always going to get it every Sunday. We do move those pieces around as big as these areas are. You may get it for a month in your neighborhood, and then we may move it, and then we may move it. If you want guaranteed delivery, if you're like, you know what, I really want the Frisco Enterprise every Sunday subscription. Okay.
So you're going to be looking at improving the paid print subscription model for paid readership. Okay, that makes sense.
That's step one for us, Mike. And then step two would be then layering in the digital aspect as well. But here's how we're monetizing digital is we did start, one of the first things we did was we started the Star Supporter program, where if you appreciate the content that we provide to the community, the work that we do, we would love for you to be a Star Supporter. And you can do a $5 contribution, $10, $20, et cetera. And I will say, I mean, I think we're up to 220 now that have done that, which doesn't seem like a big number, but it adds up. No,
there's nothing wrong with that. No, supporting the local news that is so necessary. This is wonderful. All right. So plans for the future, you've already kind of given us. That was my next topic, but are you expanding? Will you be opening up more job possibilities in your newsroom and in the sales department and other support people? How's it looking for the future?
So, one of the things we're looking at here is, where can we grow this model elsewhere? Right.
Oh.
So I've been approached actually by a few folks already in different markets outside of the Dallas area. And we're not ready yet. But in 2023, one of the things I would like to look at is, are there other markets that have similar models that we may be able to kind of leverage what we've learned here and help grow those? But right now, Mike, it's quite simple. We want to continue to improve and make sure Star Local Media is on solid footing and relevant to the markets that we serve. Once that work is done, then we'll look at, is there another market that I would like to go into? I have a few ideas, but more to come on that.
A media mogul in the making.
I don't know about that. We'll see. You know what? It's been I will tell you this. It's been a fun ride these 6 months. And I think what I've enjoyed the most is getting out in the communities, and several people have noticed the changes that we're making, right? And it's going to take time, and hopefully the business community will continue to embrace what we're doing as well. And I think they will. But really our mission this year has been simply, making sure that people know we're there, and that we care about the communities, we're important in the communities we serve, and that they make us part of their weekly routine in print and their daily routine online. If all that happens, everything else will work out.
Rick Rogers, President and CEO of 121 Media, which is really Star Local Media, correct? 121 Media is simply the parent company for the newspaper group you now manage, but keep an eye on 121 Media, because if other markets come into play, who knows? And if it winds up on the NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange, we could always just get on the ground floor or something. Give my best to Rodney. I think I remember meeting Elizabeth as well. And we want to keep an eye on your company. It took us a while to wrestle you to this interview because I know how busy you've been. But we really appreciate this. And moreover, keep up the good work. I think that what you're doing, in my humble opinion, is the answer. Every time people ask me what's the secret to being profitable in today's world of media, I say just basic blocking and tackling. Don't you agree? Good content, serve the communities. I always say, just don't overthink it. Just do it. Do you agree, sir?
Absolutely. And I'll share with this. So my wife's story, she is not a media person. She's a retired educator, a retired teacher. But being married to me, and we've been in college, I mean, she's been part of this industry on the sidelines for a while. And I think it's really been eye-opening to her about just how important the work that we do is. And she takes a lot of the phone calls from folks who either don't receive the paper and they want to receive it, or from community members as we talk about community outreach. She does a lot of that. And she sees firsthand the impact that our brands make. And I think we can't lose sight of that. At the end of the day, listen, we all have to be profitable, we all have to be sustainable, and we'll be there. But if we don't do the little things that maybe don't show up on a P&L, I think at the end of the day, you may see more red than black on that P&L.
I agree completely. Stay well, stay healthy, my friend. We'll be in touch. Thanks for your time.
Mike, thank you.